Title: Can't Help Falling in Love, written by Theowen. Yuji sat in the darkness of his room, a blanket tucked around his form as he lay there in the faint hope that sleep would descend upon him in good time. This, of course, was not going to happen. His mind was awake and his body buzzed with a shaky energy that wasn't quite anxiety or nerves, but wasn't quite hyperactivity either. He thinks he might cry because, for the first time since any of this has happened, he is alone with his thoughts, and for the first time since this has happened, Sukuna is quiet. He finally has time to think, and Yuji hates it. He hates it because his mind is stuck on a loop, going round and round with worry and fear and disgust, because it's only now in the quiet that he has time to register what's happened. He's going to die. Hell, people already think he's dead. You already think he's dead, but it doesn't even matter because at the end of the day, even when he comes back, the proverbial axe that hangs around his lifeline will still fall and it terrifies him. He doesn't want to die. Most of his life, in fact, for almost all of it, he'd been rather indifferent to the matter. It wasn't something he dwelled upon, really. Sure, there were days, sometimes even weeks, when his mind got the better of him, and he wished for nothing more than for the earth to swallow him whole, and for his existence to be wiped clean from reality. But those times were few and far in between, and despite his naivety to the world of curses, he was happy. It's strange now because he finally understands you. You who have been his best friend for a shorter time than most might expect, but you who he cares for so much, you who he thinks he might love, you who thinks he's dead. He remembers it clear as day. You sat in the seat beside him in class for all 3 years of junior high. The type of introvert who's quiet but not shy, unafraid to state their opinion but not want to draw unwanted attention to yourself unless necessary. He remembers when you first started talking and how for your entire friendship there was always something ever so slightly off, like there was something lurking just beneath your being that he could never quite see but lay in wait. Of course, it had to be the curses. Those monstrous ghosts and ghouls you'd grown up seeing all your life. The same ones that were the birth of the lie of a scholarship, and he'd encourage you to take it, completely and utterly unaware of the truth behind your moving to Tokyo. Yet, when he arrived there to the bittersweet happiness as you punched him in the face and lectured him for getting himself in such trouble before hugging him close, I am glad. I can't deny that much. It means I'll get to see you more and I don't have to hide this part of me anymore. I'm sorry. I didn't tell you sooner, but I was worried you'd think I'm insane. The worst part is, you were right. He probably would have thought you were insane. Should you have told him such a thing even a month ago? Hell, even 2 weeks ago, he'd have thought you hysterical. He would have thought you raving. He would have thought you were mad or senile or any of ever other synonym for insane. It hurt. It hurts so much. It burned into his chest where his heart had once been, and the pain embedded itself there as his mind roared with a turmoil he couldn't even blame on Sukuna. That sharp, stabbing pain that held the subtlety of tension, wound 10 times too tight, and the blatant, agonizing feel that he could only equate to that of something ripping him limb for limb. All of that terrible feeling condensed into one emotion because how could he face you? You'd cried and mourned his death, you trusted him and loved him, and he didn't even have the decency to stay alive. It was almost funny. You never really hid the fact that you loved him, but it wasn't an awkward thing. Comfortable and confident, you told him up front, I like you a lot, and I know you don't return my feelings. I just wanted to say that. I wanted to let you know, and I don't want to try and be in a relationship or force anything awkward on you, You were my closest friend, and I care about you so much. And I mean that, platonically, regardless of any romantic feelings I told you. But, I didn't want to hide it from you. You deserve to know the truth. It had been awkward at first, but within a week, it settled down back into the same calm state your friendship had always been. How painfully ironic that it took him dying for him to finally get it through his thick skull. Maybe it wasn't love. Not yet. But it was something greater than platonic, and he had no idea who to tell you. Yuji didn't even know how to put it in words. He couldn't even tell you he was alive. And yet, here he lay, stressing over something as rival as his emotions. Somewhere in the back of his mind, he hears Sukunat cackle. The being have woken up at some point. It was late. He was tired, but his mind was wide awake and buzzing with information, and he could already hear the curse taunting him. On how strange, how bizarre, how pathetic, how desperate, how sad, and how joyful. Because Yuji thinks he might love you, and right now, somehow, that only made things worse.